Hey, I'm Rochelle.
And I'm Alicia, and we are Wild Goose Meditation, and this is day 2 of our bite-sized meditation on parenting. And today is all about the concept of kids being our mirrors.
Yeah, we see the world through the lens of our own experiences, and that lens doesn't necessarily reflect absolute reality.
If the world is like a mirror for us, kids are like the biggest mirror of all. And so sometimes we say this as like they push my buttons.
Yeah.
But really, what it is that they are reflecting back to us either something that we're deeply afraid of or dislike about ourselves. And so, this is why it is so important as a parent. If you go back to yesterday, what we talked about, it's so important to deal with your own issues, and why it's so important to love yourself and have self-compassion. So when a child reflects something back to us that we don't like or something that we're afraid of, maybe when we can't have compassion for ourselves in that moment, we don't have compassion for them. And instead, we have like an emotional reaction to something when our kids actually need our compassion.
You can kind of get triggered.
Yeah. So the good news about this, though, is that this can, if we are mindful and we approach this without shame and labels, and we just pause and say, why is this bothering me so much? Why is this such a big deal for me? Or why am I having such an emotional reaction to this? Then you can actually learn a lot about yourself.
Lots of times because our kids are reflections, they reflect back to us from us, but we also sometimes put them in the position of, oh, well, they're a reflection of me to the rest of the world. And we wish that they would not necessarily reflect truth. We want them to reflect a more flattering interpretation of reality. And I also had a recent experience with one of my kids going to school, and my son was having all kinds of anxiety and a lot of fear about being dropped off. And on one particular day, it took me almost an hour to kind of disengage and be able to go. And unfortunately, in the stress of that moment, I did snap, and I yelled at my son, and immediately I felt remorse. And for the rest of the day, like I just honed in on the shame that I felt, the should haves. And luckily, in practicing mindfulness and meditation, I was able to kind of identify, okay, what are the things that I'm feeling? What's really behind this? And can I forgive myself? Yeah, I can. And so once I was back in compassion, I was able to have a conversation with him at his young age about what do you think is so hard about the situation we're in? And what he needed was just to go earlier so that he could be the first one there, so that all the kids weren't watching him come in. And amazingly, after he was able to communicate that, and we have been going earlier, and there hasn't been a problem. If I would have been stuck in my own shame and not being self-aware enough to think about where all these negative emotions are coming from, I couldn't have gotten back into compassion for him. I would have just been stuck in, oh, I'm a terrible mom, and not actually solve any of the problem.
Being a mindful parent does not mean you don't get upset with your kids. It doesn't mean that you don't have emotional reactions to things. What it means is that when something happens and later you reflect on it, you're able to view it without the shoulds, without the labeling, without the shame storm.
And maybe it won't be perfect, but maybe it will be better than last time.
This exercise is called Loving Parent Meditation for Compassion. You can use this meditation when you are needing a special kindness or compassion toward one of your children. You can repeat it as many times as you like, and you can do it before or after a difficult event. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Try and relax any tension in your body. In your mind, think the phrases, "May I be free from danger. May I be physically well. May I be happy. May I find peace. May I be whole." Now bring to mind a memory from your own past when you were a child or youth. Think of a time when you needed a special compassion or kindness offered to you, perhaps in a time when you did not receive it. Try and picture yourself as that child or youth and offer these phrases to that child. May you be free from danger. May you be physically well. May you be happy. May you find peace. May you be whole. Now bring to mind one of your children or your child or a child in your life. Try and picture them in your mind, how they look, and remember what being in their presence feels like. Offer these same sentences to them now. May you be free from danger. May you be physically well. May you be happy. May you find peace. May you be whole. You can repeat this meditation as many times as you would like. You can do it as part of a morning practice, or you can do it after a particularly difficult situation. This exercise is called naming your emotions. It's an exercise that helps us to notice and be aware of our sensations and emotions without reacting to them. Go ahead and close your eyes if you can and take a deep breath. Scan your body quickly to see if there's an area that needs to be relaxed or is holding tension. Begin to notice your surroundings. What can you hear? Try and notice the farthest sound that you can hear. What do you feel? Try not to label or interpret any of your sensations. Just exist with your surroundings. Acknowledge anything that begins to bubble up in your relaxed state. Feelings, thoughts, emotions, memories. Instead of getting lost in them or attached to them, watch them as an observer or a scientist. Begin to name each thought or emotion that comes by. Be as specific as possible. Many of our emotions are multi-layered. For example, a fear of public speaking could be masking a deeper fear of rejection, which could be tied to a painful experience earlier in your life. This technique can be used in situations of high emotions with a child. You can do this as part of your regular meditation practice, but in the moment you can also name a strong emotion. Next time you experience a strong emotion, instead of attaching anger, fear, guilt, or just reacting to it, try naming what you are feeling without judging it. You might say,
I am feeling angry because my child is misbehaving in public. I am feeling embarrassment because I think their behavior is a reflection of me. I care deeply about what other people are thinking of me right now, and I am worried that my value as a person is in question. You can remind yourself that these are just thoughts, not necessarily reality. Sometimes simply shining the light of awareness on our emotions is enough to help us manage them better, even in the moment.